How will the new format shake up? Can Dale make history with 2 in a row?
You're clear. Checker flag. You win. Oh, yeah! Woo!
A little NASCAR fun.
It's time for tonight's show superlative. We have Kyle Busch. He was voted most likely to be grown-up Stewie Griffin from Family Guy.
NASCAR America is next. Last year at Phoenix International Raceway, we saw the 99 of Carl Edwards, our guest last Wednesday, end up in victory lane. Will he be one of the favorites in the Valley of the Sun this weekend? New qualifying happens today, and we'll hear from a driver that has plenty of experience with this new format. Hello and welcome to NASCAR America. That is Cup driver Jeff Burton. I am rental car driver Rick Allen. We want to get right to the first practice session from Phoenix earlier. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has the momentum coming off that big Daytona 500 win. And he's even got a sticker.
Yeah, and it's got to feel good to get in that car and get back to racing, you know what I mean? That's a new sticker, man. That's new. You got new tall spoilers this year, yeah, a little bit taller spoiler, more downforce. The first race with that.
And Jimmy Johnson decided he's going to help out with the team?
Yeah, that's not good. Drivers aren't supposed to touch things. That'll get you in trouble. Here's a little bit of trouble right here for Kurt, rather. Hit the ball a little bit. I don't think that's big damage, though.
Kisses the wall. They have to take it into the garage, do a little bit of cosmetic fixing up there. And the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. ends up fastest in the first practice. This is what they had to say.
It'd be nice to have all the practice again tomorrow, just because things are so new right now, and that would be the biggest impact on us, is just less track time to work through our setups. So it'll put a little bit more pressure on us today. Get it right.
I think that gamesmanship when it comes to qualifying is about one-upping one another with the lap time, not about, you know, blocking or you know, doing something that is trying to hurt somebody else's laps. But as I clearly read in NASCAR's notes or memo, it looks like we're going to take care of that ourselves. So we'll see how that works.
Just seeing the reaction from the fans that they get, you know, they get that much joy from it means probably the most. Definitely hearing from the Redskins is pretty awesome. Rendezvous ribs from Memphis is going to send me some ribs, so that's awesome. I mean, all kinds of things keep happening. Bill Elliott's going to spot for me. I don't know what's going to happen next, but it just keeps going. That's the only bad part about winning at Daytona is you go to Phoenix and somebody else wins on, you know, the next race. So, and then they're, you know, then they're getting the ribs, but.
Well, you know, Dale Jr. just keeps it going. The 88 posted the fastest lap in Sprint Cup practice. He topped out at 138.723 miles per hour. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch round out the top 3. Rookies Austin Dillon and Kyle Larson were 5th and 6th on the charts. Phoenix is a 1-mile oval which began hosting NASCAR events in 1988. In 2011, the track was reconfigured. 23 drivers have at least one Cup win there. The forecast is on everyone's mind. It's expected to rain all day on Saturday before it begins to clear up for Sunday's race. So, obviously, that, Jeff, is going to put a premium on track time.
First things first, I never got ribs for a win. You know, that concerns
Dale gets
me.
everything.
But, you know, practice is important, and I think the weather is going to make it even more important because this is the first race of the year, man. First downforce race, new rules, all those things going on, limited practice because of the possibility of rain tomorrow.
Right.
I think that's on the back of everybody's minds for sure.
Okay, so if it does rain tomorrow, what does that change as far as track time, and what does that change as far as qualifying?
Well, it forced the teams to spend more time in race trim today than they wanted to. A lot of teams wanted to unload in Q trim, work on qualifying. Every team that is racing for points, okay? Some teams are there to make the race, but all the teams that are racing for the championship, it forced them to work on race practice.
Right.
Some Q, but mostly race.
All right. Dale Earnhardt Jr. could join a very exclusive club this weekend. There have only been 5 drivers to win the first 2 races of a Sprint Cup season. Jeff Gordon and Matt Kenseth are the only 2 drivers to achieve this feat by winning the Daytona 500 in the season opening race. So a big challenge in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. if he wants to join that elite group. Now we head off to Phoenix. It's our first downforce track of the year, and one of the big things that has taken place in 2014 is the changes to the setup of the car, Jeff.
A really big change, and this is a kind of a monumental change. NASCAR has always in the past made cars go through tech at a certain height, and you can see here how high the splitter is off the ground. NASCAR would measure that splitter. NASCAR would measure the side skirts. As we see here, NASCAR would measure the quarter panel heights, the roof height. They do all those things, okay? They're still doing those things, but what the teams like to do is they like the car to look like this. They like the car on the racetrack to be sealed off. Right. Splitter on the ground, the side skirts lower, the right side skirt to be sealed off to the racetrack, okay? You can see those wheels are stuck up in the wheel wells. The reason the teams want that is because that's the most downforce. The more downforce you can have, the better they drive. So this is what it looked like before. Tech, on pre-tech, post-tech, post-race, all those things, and then this was on the racetrack.
Right.
Today, cars are going to still go through tech like this, okay? But the teams are going to be allowed to pull spacers out as soon as they go through tech, and they're going to get the car down, okay? It may not be all the way down like this, but it's going to be real close.
Right.
So the reason that NASCAR has done that is teams have spent an exorbitant amount of money developing really exotic springs to take a car that's up in the air like this, get it to travel like this, and then stay like that. Because you want it like this on the straightaway, but you also want it in the corners.
Travel to this level, but not hit the track, right?
That's correct. So you just get to that limit. So also, we saw a lot of teams being penalized over the years going through tech after the race. They weren't cheating. They just made a mistake, or they had a spring fade a little bit, or soften up. They would fail tech. So it was harder for NASCAR to police. It was harder for the teams. Hopefully this will make it easier for both parties.
And the goal is to get as much air over the top of the car as possible.
You want downforce. The more downforce, the better the cars drive, and we've seen it makes for better racing.
All right. Now, Phoenix was repaved in 2011. Yesterday, you had mentioned that because of that repave, that was going to change the way pit stop strategy took place. How so?
Well, it's huge. Phoenix used to be a track that tires would wear out quickly. Every time the caution would wave, people were on pit road putting on tires. We don't see that today. We see two-tire strategies. We see no-tire strategies. If you don't need fuel, sometimes you'll just stay out. You know, so fuel has become more important than tires. The reason why is the new asphalt.
Okay.
The new asphalt is much less grit in it than the old asphalt. It's a polymer-type asphalt is what they call it. The rocks, the aggregate, are very small and very close together. So I've got some props today, okay?
Okay.
It's
Show
play
and tell day.
Friday is play day.
Sure.
So my man Benji has brought me a prop.
Thank you,
All
Benji.
right, thank you. Old racetrack.
Okay.
Very, very rough. New racetrack, much smoother. So old racetrack, drive the car on the racetrack.
Very coarse.
Okay. This is what happened to the tires. It would eat the tires up. Okay. Lots of grit in the racetrack. New racetrack, new asphalt. Nothing
Hardly
happens.
anything.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing happens. So you end up not wearing tires out. And a lot of times we see at Phoenix and also these newer paved racetracks, the cars actually go quicker after being on the racetrack for a few laps. So that has completely changed the way you race Phoenix.
I love the fact you've brought cheese in. What goes best with cheese?
In my house?
Wine.
Wine.
That guy is sharp, let me tell you.
This was NASCAR America.
He is very quick.
NASCAR.
Well,
Wine.
it's not wine and cheese for the drivers, though. More on the new qualifying rules and some late-night fun still to come.
Jamie McMurray, he was voted most likely to be Lord Voldemort before his botched nose job. That's not a bad-looking guy. Clint Boyer, he was voted most likely to play Han Solo in an off-Broadway version of Star Wars the Musical. I got a bad feeling about this. Chewie.
Stand by for Titanfall.
For life.
This day in NASCAR. In 1940, Mario Andretti was born. The racing icon's the only driver to win the Daytona 500, Indy 500, and F1 World Championship. In 1960, 22-year-old Richard Petty won at the Southern States Fairgrounds in Charlotte, the first of his 200 career wins. And in 71, A.J. Foyt won at Ontario Motor Speedway in NASCAR's 1000 Cup Series race. This weekend, NASCAR's commemorating the first start in the career of Wendell Scott. Cup Series only African-American race winner made his first start on March 4th, 1961 in Spartanburg, South Carolina. This decal will be applied to each vehicle during inspection. You know, qualifying has been on everyone's mind since it was announced that the procedures would change this season. Let's go to our Charlotte studio where Marty Snyder has found yet another friend to help break down what we can expect.
Well, Rick, I might be running out of friends, but I've got a familiar friend to all of us here at the NBC Sports Racing family, Wally Dallenbach, and you're the perfect guy for this to talk about it because not only do you commentate on it in the IndyCar series, but you've driven in this knockout-type qualifying for years, haven't you? So what can fans expect today to get out of this?
Well, I think this is a great move. I mean, NASCAR did the right thing, I think. Finally, qualifying is exciting. First time 14 years you ever hear me say, I can't wait to do the qualifying shows this year. And what you're going to see a lot of, it's great for the fans. It's going to be frustrating for the drivers. You're going to hear a lot this year, so-and-so messed up my lap.
Right.
Because you're out there in a short amount of time, and you've got to try to bust off a lap. And then the driver part of you comes in, and as soon as you got your lap, you're going to look in the mirror. And one side is going to say, okay, I got to get out of this way so I don't mess this guy's lap up. But on the other side, you're going to say, maybe I need to hang out there a little bit just to mess this guy's lap up. So you're going to see a lot of games played, which is going to make this thing, there's going to be a lot of drama in qualifying this year.
Well, we certainly see this in IndyCar all the time, don't we? How will it be different, though, with NASCAR than it is with IndyCar?
Well, first of all, you got twice the amount of cars. And you've got, 42, 43 cars out there trying to bust a lap. And I think the first couple of races, guys are going to try to feel out, should I go out early? Should I go out late? I think you should go early because you want to get that clean lap. If you can go out before everybody else, I think that's a better risk than waiting to see if the track gets a little bit faster. But I think this is all going to be new to everybody, so people are going to be trying to do a lot of different things. But I think the excitement of qualifying now, because it's going to be like a chess game. You're going to want to find. I always like to have a rabbit to chase in qualifying. Yeah, it made me a better qualifier to try to go after a guy. But there's a lot of these racetracks where there's not much room to get this stuff done when there's other cars on the racetrack, and the littlest thing can mess up a guy's lap.
And you mentioned the gamesmanship. Is that something that happens now or something that happens down the road? What do you think?
It's going to happen now. You're always going to have that group of guys that are going to try to mess with somebody else. And I think NASCAR is going to be watching everybody very, very close. I think they're going to come down hard on a lot of guys. You can't make it obvious. You can't just get in front of somebody and mess their lap up. But maybe you can get 2 or 3 feet off the apron and just, it doesn't take much to break a guy's concentration just a little bit on a qualifying lap. And the times are so tight, it means everything.
Well, Rick, as you can tell, Wally and I excited for qualifying today, and I know you guys are as well.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're just under 2 hours until we get to see that first qualifying session in Phoenix. You know, the drivers of NASCAR haulers have been earning their money. They made a 475-mile trek from Charlotte to Daytona and then back again. Then they made a 2,110-mile journey to PIR, which is located in Avondale, Arizona. After Phoenix, it's a 295-mile ride to Las Vegas for a total of 3,355 miles. Once they get home, it's over 5,500 miles, and that's time for an oil change. One of the teams that has to make this trip is Joe Gibbs Racing, and today our Kelly Stavis is there.
Hey, I'm just helping the boys at Joe Gibbs Racing getting Kyle Busch's car loaded and ready to head west. Now, you might be wondering why we're loading cars today when they're already on the track in Phoenix. Well, this is Kyle's car for Las Vegas. And the goal is to get all the Joe Gibbs Racing Vegas cars out of Huntersville, North Carolina today and into Las Vegas by Monday morning. That's when they'll make the swap with the primary haulers. They'll trade cars, team uniforms, and other track essentials. Now, for a big team like Joe Gibbs Racing, they have the luxury of owning 2 4-car haulers, so they can get the job done by themselves. But for smaller teams like Tommy Baldwin Racing and Fastlane Racing, among others, well, they've had to join forces to rent car haulers to get their Vegas cars out west. But these first 5 weeks of the season with races from coast to coast and so many miles logged, it's really the hauler drivers that are sort of the unsung heroes in the garage area. Guys?
Yeah, Kelly, it's surprising how many people are behind the scenes that make these teams work.
Yeah, big shout out to the hauler drivers. Those guys, I mean, they're doing it all the time. Late nights, early mornings, they really get a lot done. And then you think about it, there's more people in these teams that don't go to the racetrack than there are that do go to the racetrack. So many people, you never hear their names on TV. Without them, these race teams are nothing.
And they start from scratch with these cars. I mean, you've got a chassis that you start with. You hang the bodies, they put the engines in. I mean, there's so many things that go on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and one little mistake by someone at the shop, and it ruins it for everybody. So everybody is important.
Everybody is important. Coming up, we break down who will win in Phoenix. There are a few that bring momentum with them from Daytona. Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, and Dale Jr. are all contenders. The mayor makes his pick next. Closer to NASCAR every weekday. The latest on NASCAR and all motorsports. NASCAR America, weekdays 5 Eastern, only on NBC SN. Tomorrow, watch as sports' most storied surfaces are transformed so the biggest teams in hockey can settle the score outdoors. The Coors Light NHL Stadium Series, the Penguins and Blackhawks from Soldier Field. That's tomorrow on NBC. Before we get to NASCAR's new and much anticipated qualifying overhaul, which will feature group running and knockout multiple round format, we thought we'd go back and look at some of the glorious single car runs in NASCAR's qualifying history.
We fire up our top 5 with Benny Parsons. At Talladega in 1982, BP became the first driver in NASCAR history to average over 200 miles per hour on a qualifying lap. He certainly wouldn't be the last at Talladega, but that day it was good enough for pole. Richard Petty still owns many records in the NASCAR history book, and yes, career poles is one of them. At Bristol in 1979, the King took his 123rd and final pole. Pole number 1 for Danica Patrick touched off a media frenzy in Daytona last year before the 500, when she became the first female to win a pole position at the NASCAR Cup level. Just weeks after suffering a broken collarbone and sternum in a vicious Talladega crash, Dale Earnhardt not only endured the twisting road course at Watkins Glen, the Intimidator tamed it. He not only took pole, but set a track record. What turned out to be Earnhardt's last pole was one of his finest performances. In the mid-'80s, Bill Elliott was as popular as he was fast. At Talladega, Awesome Bill scorched the speedway with a lap of 212.809 miles per hour. It was the fastest lap in NASCAR history, and with restrictor plates introduced the following year, it's a record that will likely remain untouched.
Here's what's on tap this weekend at Phoenix. Sprint Cup qualifying will take place at 6:40 Eastern. That'll be followed by the NASCAR Toyota Series season opener at 9 Eastern on Mundos. On Saturday, the Nationwide Series race is scheduled for 3:45. The weekend, that's going to be capped off by the Sprint Cup race Sunday at 3 Eastern. For tickets, call 866-GO-NASCAR or go to NASCAR.com/tickets. Okay, Jeff, yesterday, you left me hanging on your pick. You had 5 guys that you thought had a chance of winning. Let's narrow it down.
I didn't tell you yesterday because I wasn't real sure. I had to think about it a little more. But, you know, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a couple guys off the board. All these guys are potential winners, but I'm going to start with the 11 and the 18. The reason why, this track is suited to those guys. But last year's fall race, they just didn't show it. So they're going to have to prove to me that they can get it done. All right. All right, now I'm going to need a little help. Okay. I'm going to take Jimmy Johnson off the board. All right, I'll take care of that. Even though he's a multi-time champion, he just hadn't shown it to me on the new surface either. So we're down to these 2 guys, the 2 most recent winners. All right. And I just see in Kevin Harvick a determination, wanting to prove that he can do it. So take Carl Edwards off the board. Sorry, Carl, nothing personal. But the bottom line is that Kevin Harvick, when he's determined, when he wants to prove to the world he can do something, he's going to do it. And I think that team is capable, even though they're new together. I just see these guys stepping up early in their relationship together, making something big happen right off the bat. All right, so the mayor has picked Kevin Harvick to win this weekend in Phoenix. You know, the viral video that's sweeping the industry, that's coming up next. As we go to break, it's our Heart of America, different tracks, series, and stars. Today we celebrate the mentors in the heart of racing. From Watermelon Capital Speedway in Cordele, Georgia. How about Virginia Motor Speedway in Jamaica, Virginia? To Orange County Fair Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina. We tip our hats to you for keeping the heart beating. NASCAR America continues next.
Saturday night, March 15th on NBCSN.
The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon had a little fun this past Monday and gave out driver superlatives following the Daytona 500. Take a listen.
Our first driver is Marcos Ambrose. He's a NASCAR driver, originally from Australia. He was voted most likely to be the love child of Matt Lauer and Captain Picard. Next we have Kyle Busch. He was voted most likely to be grown-up Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. Terry Labonte. He was voted most likely to be holding a ping pong paddle with his butt cheeks right now. Next we have Dave Gilliland, who was voted saddest 40-year-old virgin. I mean, that's not. Let's see the original movie poster. Put them together. Yeah, it's pretty close, yeah. Finally, we have Michael Waltrip. He was voted most likely to be the love child of Harry Styles and your dad. There you guys go. Those are your NASCAR superlatives.
And remember when Jeff Gordon pranked a used car salesman? Well, he's at it again. This time tricking Travis Okolski, who thought the original gag was a hoax.
You Travis?
I'm Travis.
Did some time with a guy from Jersey one time. You know, I went away for 10 years, so you can imagine the fear I get. Oh, what? I wasn't even doing anything.
No, sir. Please.
I can't go back, man.
Sir.
I can't go back.
Sir,
I'm sorry, I can't.
Stop, stop, stop. Please stop.
I can't
Please
do
stop.
it, man.
Please, no! No!
I can't go back, man. I'm sorry. Fuck, no. We're gonna lose him. It's all right. I can't go back. Come on out, buddy. I'm Jeff Gordon.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Was that for real?
That was for real.
It looked pretty convincing to me, the tattoo on the neck and everything. Now, we've got a minute with the mayor. I want to congratulate you and especially your son, Harrison, on a great speed week. He got 2 wins while down in the Daytona area.
Well, thank you. It's been fun racing with him and you know, having a good time. We're going to a lot of the racetracks that we've been talking about here on the show. You know, it's really been exciting to go back and be in the short track program. There's a lot of enthusiasm in short track racing right now, and that's good for our future.
How old's Harrison, and when can he get into maybe NASCAR?
Well, he's 13, but we'll worry about that later. You know, he's pretty young to be doing what he's doing already, so we're focusing on him and just letting him learn at his pace.
Now, your daughter Paige, she doesn't race?
No, she rides horses, so she actually does more dangerous stuff than he does.
And Kim takes care of everything, right?
She's in charge of it all, you know, just like you.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure if we're all in charge of anything, but we really appreciate you being with us this week. From the entire NASCAR America family here on NBCSN, thanks for joining us and have a great weekend. Coming up next, it's Premier League Match Pack.